Your alternate timeline presents a fascinating mix of geopolitics and corporate drama. Here's how such a scenario might unfold in a hypothetical world. Alternative timeline. Nintendo and the Iraq-Iran crisis. 2025 Iraq and Iran purchased Nintendo. Iraq and Iran collaborate to acquire Nintendo, a bold and unprecedented move in the global corporate landscape. This sparks international concern as both countries begin to view the company's ownership as a critical element of national pride. Tensions rise. Disputes arise between the two nations over creative control, revenue sharing, and headquarters location. This rivalry escalates from corporate feuds to open hostility. 2026 conflict erupts. In early 2026, Iraq and Iran enter a military conflict centered on the symbolic and economic value of Nintendo. The company's assets, including game studios and intellectual properties, are caught in the crossfire. NATO intervention. NATO, citing global security concerns and protecting international business interests, declares intervention. The invasion of Iraq begins in 20 days due to its relatively flat terrain and vulnerable infrastructure. 2027 Invasion of Iran. NATO faces a prolonged conflict in Iran due to its mountainous terrain and decentralized resistance. The operation drags on for nearly a year, causing significant casualties and financial strain. Collapse of leadership. Facing defeat, the leaders of Iraq and Iran, responsible for initiating the conflict, commit suicide. Both nations fall into political chaos. 2028 Nintendo's restoration. International efforts focus on salvaging Nintendo's operations. Under the leadership of a coalition board, including representatives from Japan and global gaming industry leaders, the company begins its recovery. Gaming resurgence. A new era for Nintendo is declared, emphasizing peace, creativity, and global unity. Franchises like Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda become symbols of reconciliation. 2029 global impact. The crisis reshapes global geopolitics and corporate governance. Policies are introduced to prevent state-level ownership of major international corporations. Meanwhile, Nintendo releases a critically acclaimed game titled Unity Quest, inspired by the events. This timeline demonstrates how a single corporate acquisition could ripple into unforeseen geopolitical consequences, highlighting the intersection of culture, economics, and global politics. 4.